Okay, so this is our TA appointment request form. So when a graduate advisor logs in, so I'm in the role of a graduate advisor, a couple things are pre-filled, so like their name and their email addresses. And then I started a draft for a request. So I selected astronomy as my department. And the department field is very important because we have some conditional fields down below that are all based on the department. And then for the position title, we have a few. And as Patty was kind of mentioning, we have those like exception cases, like exception policy cases. So we were able to build in approval, like document upload fields for additional approvals that are needed before departments can offer like an undergrad or a course assistant, which is a non-student TA, their appointment. And that's really helpful so that we know that the approvals were gotten before the appointment was actually offered. In this case, I'm just going to go with the TA. I filled in a student name and their degree program. And then this is one of those conditional fields that, like I mentioned, is based off the department. So since I selected astronomy, I'm only going to see the astronomy courses. So I'm not going to see any chemistry or like math courses. I'm just going to pick something. I'm going to pick a date and time. And then we also have it built in. I'm going to scroll down a little bit where, when a grad advisor is entering this information, say they have everything, but they're just missing the course location, we have a TBD option, so they can fill that in as a placeholder, and then they can always let the grad or the student know where the actual course location is once they have that sorted out. And then we also have an other option. So like if for some reason the correct option isn't in this list, they select other, and then they can just manually type in where the course number is or the actual location. And then I'm going to select an instructor. The department and division, again, these are all based off of that original department field. So those are automatically pre-filled. But if for some reason, say Alyssa isn't the department contact for the quarter, they also have the rest of the graduate advisors in the list in case someone's covering for one another or other if they need to type it in. And then in terms of our salary information, so our TAs, their salary is based off their experience. So as they get more experience, their salary level goes up. And so in each department, they have a salary point reference spreadsheet. And so that would be a link that's clickable right here. And so the list has the students' names and their salary points. So it's an easy reference for the graduate advisors while they're filling out the form. So they would go look up the salary point and then select it. And then once they select the salary point, then it's the annual, the monthly, and the quarterly rate are all filled in based off of the percent time. And so 50% is like the most common TA percentage for our TAs, but we also have some of the other common TA percentages. And then like Patty was mentioning as well, another exception to the policy, if they're over 50% time, that requires some additional approval. So again, we have another approval upload field. Another nice thing about InfoReady is that some students require additional language and some don't. So we're able to have like a simple yes or no question for our graduate advisors for when the language should be included in the appointment letter or not. So that's something that was really nice to build in to the form. And then lastly, the last few fields are something that aren't actually in the TA appointment letter, but they're actually in our payroll report, which the graduate advisors download and give to my team, the academic HR team, for payroll processing. So it's super nice that they're kind of able just to enter everything into the form, download the report, and then give it to us. They don't have to download the report and then manually enter more information later. We're just collecting it all up front. So I'm going to just enter some things here. This is just one for if a student's not in the astronomy department, they can let us know so that we know that we're hiring the correct person. And then this is just like a comment field if they need to tell us anything. And it even says, the TA will not see these comments. And then I'm going to send this to myself so that we can see an example of the appointment letter. I'm going to go next. And then the last thing is our description of duties. So all TA appointments require a description of duties, and it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's just like a document that outlines their duties for the quarter. You have to attend lecture or grade papers, things like that. And so there's a couple options of how our graduate advisors can handle this. They can upload the DoD now, and it's included in the appointment letter, or they can email it directly to the student outside of InfoReady. Since we have many departments in our division, just some were handling it different than others. So InfoReady was kind of flexible in like how they were able to send the form to the student. And then we also do have a third option listed here where it's like if the department has all the appointment letters done, but they're just waiting on the DoD, they can just click the button and then save it as a draft and come back to it later. I just upload a little sample document and now I'm going to submit. So now the graduate advisor has finished the appointment letter. So now I'm like in the role of the student. I received the email that I have an appointment offer. I'm going to go to my assignments and here's the appointment. So we have some instructions for the student of like how they can see and download the appointment letter. So they just have to click show request details, and the letter includes basically all the information that the graduate advisor entered on the form, plus, like Patty was mentioning, all the required language that the union requires us to give to the students. So at the beginning, just kind of like a little intro. And then we have, this is all the information that I just entered, right? Like the course and the location, the instructor, the salary information. And then down below, this is all kind of like the terms and conditions of the appointment. This is all the required language that we have to give to the student. And then if they go to the documents tab, this is where all those documents live. So the description of duties, this is the term and conditions you just saw in a PDF format. And then this is a required document that we have to give them, a position description. And then this is just a little info sheet about the leave options that they have as a TA. So they can view all that. And then if they need to download a copy for like if they need to show proof of employment, they can just click this little PDF button to download that. So they scroll down, they acknowledge that they've read the assignment information, they've read the terms and conditions, and then they can accept the appointment. And they submit. So then now I'm back into the role as a graduate advisor, and I'm going to refresh my little data grid here. And so this is the data grid, so they can see all the requests that the graduate advisors have submitted and what the students have accepted or not. And so we have a couple of custom grid views. So this is our first one. That's like an accept or decline report. So it's like super simple. Student name, their acceptance or declining, and then the department. Since each department is looking at their request individually, they don't need to see, all the other departments. So they can easily filter just for theirs. And then kind of same idea with our payroll report. They can filter by the department. So, if I'm astronomy, I can just see all the astronomy. I don't see the other departments. And then this has all of the information that my team needs to actually process the payroll. So they just download the grid and they paste it into a Google Sheet that we work off of to actually enter it into our payroll system.